Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice Tuesday morning over here. It's a Tuesday of which I do suspect that the lower term time frame is going to be moving, and then I want to thread these ideas back into the higher term time frames and put the full picture together for like the next few weeks here. Other than that, I'm feeling like absolute dog shit because Jason Pizzino has brought some sort of unknown disease from Australia, and now who knows what the hell I have, but also who knows what the hell he has too. Anyways, before I get into it, I do want to, in a more sincere and humble tone, say that if you do find this content valuable or in some way useful, please do consider hitting the like and subscribe button, as it does help with the channel, and also the herp and dirt button as well, because that will also maybe help out other things as well. What else? Yep, Bybit's got their promotion going on. We'll talk about that a little bit later. 0% on maker fees for derivative contracts, which is found in the link in the description below as well. All right, sweet. Let's get into the actual fun stuff here and talk about, first and foremost, the 4-hour time frame on the HPDR ranges. So this indicator on many different time frames has been kind of giving us a big bias as to what to expect to essentially be happening here for Bitcoin in the more near term. And what's very interesting about this, since we last spoke, or since the last couple days here, is that the 4-hour blue range, representing 50% of historical returns, has actually started to move up here. What does that essentially mean? And also Bitcoin's above the median here as well. What does that essentially mean? It does essentially mean that still short term, the bias is, at least for myself, one more push to the upside, probably to the top side of that range high, which is 23,600 or 23,700. Anywhere around there is fair game as far as the short term goes. But just as before, the overall 50% range high and range low, again, this blue area right here, essentially just, represents a mathematical and statistically based narrative for begetting the range. And in this case, that would be this area right here and this area right here. I'm doing a bad drawing, apologies. But something like this, basically. And that does imply that any sort of a range resolution above or below on a closing basis is likely to lead towards a test towards the next range, high or low in this case. So if we do see not just a test of the top side of the blue 50% historical returns range highs, which is now 23,650, I'm guessing. Yeah, about 23,650. Then I would be looking for another big leg up, almost another $1,000 higher towards 24,550 or so. By the same token, if Bitcoin gets rejected there, comes back down and closes below now 22,350, no longer 22,250, then I would be looking for Bitcoin to initiate the pullback from here. I do think that's a little bit less likely for now, and I'll explain why, not just with this, because, obviously the ranges are moving up, but we do see that on the hourly, there is hidden bullish divergence of a few drives variety, 1, 2, 3 coming off the lows right there. And then also when we do and go and reference stochastic momentum, we can see over here, where is it? There it is. Starting off with the daily stochastic momentum still is postured to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 22,800 on a daily closing basis. The 12-hour time frame is also postured to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 22,650 or so. The 6-hour time frame is also to the upside, as you would guess, as long as Bitcoin's above 22,900. The 4-hour time frame is going to be flipping down right here. It's flipping down and flipping up again. No, it will flip back up again above 23,200, which Bitcoin on CME is about a little bit less than $100 below right now. So not out of the question. And then the hourly, as Elsa yawns in the background, is also postured to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 23,000, which it is currently a little bit more than $100 above as of right now. Did also denote, what was it, yesterday or the day before? No, it's yesterday. This trend line over here still playing out. I guess we still have it still have it open. But what I want to say is that while all of these pivots are still to the upside right now, you can see that 1, they are very close to current price action, and 2, they're almost all in the extreme zones. So what does this essentially mean to me? Well, it essentially means that while Bitcoin likely does have one more try to the upside, it's probably going to be the last one for this current drive, meaning that I would be expecting a bit of a more decent pullback relatively soon, if you will. And of course, the question is, how high does Bitcoin get on this one? Does it actually clear above the blue historical returns range highs? If it does, okay, well, then we have, pretty nice big move brewing, very, very likely towards 24,550, maybe even all the way up to 25,200, which would be the 90% of historical returns range highs, which is where we do expect, extreme moves to come in around. What gives us a bias towards looking at this as an extreme move? Well, we're seeing extremes on volatility, that's for sure. 12-hour time frame, daily time frame, 6-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame, all, near critical highs right there, or, at extreme highs, at extreme expansion phases. So, we do expect that to go into consolidation relatively soon, a more prolonged one, if you will. And then also keeping these sort of areas in mind over here, I do want to now swing back around as I reference my notes and talk about the higher term time frame. So how does this fit into the greater picture of things? Well, let's go back to this chart over here. This is one of the big maps that we've been using for the past month and a half to 2 months now. And it is the 5-day volatility versus stochastic momentum signature. I'll briefly explain it. I know I've done it too many damn times here, but basically extreme lows on volatility represented by this indicator, the BBWP indicator, which I define as anything 15 percentile or lower over the past 5 years, has led to an average move of 42.35% upon volatility expansion, which is mathematically, well, it's mathematical certainty. It's mathematically programmed basically. Over the course of an average of about 37 days, there's a, lowest result for this one, highest result for this one, and also a first standard deviation analysis for it. Also, the 5-day stochastic also has been correct in getting the direction of volatility expansion perfectly, actually, in the last 5 years. Again, I don't expect that to always hold true, but for now, pretty fucking good, I'd say. And then also we did witness on the last closure that it did break this trend line regression that we've seen going all the way back, marking all of the major highs since September of 2021. So that'd be that high there, like I think it was like 53, and then again at the all-time high at $69,000 right here, and then the bull trap of April of 2022 at $48,000 to $49,000. So that does indicate a long-term change of behavior. And then also, another thing indicating a long-term change of behavior that actually Jason Bazzino was and I were talking about was this. And I thought this was very, very interesting. In GAN theology, I don't know if that's like the right way to be speaking about it, but in GAN theory, I think maybe is a better way to say it. When you see that the rallies in this case on a nominal basis are greater than the prior rallies that we did see, like the major ones that we saw. Most recently was obviously this rally in September from about 18.5 all the way to 21.5. But even the one before that, I would say the summer bull trap from about 19,000 all the way to 25,000. When these rallies of the near term get greater than the prior ones, that shows that there is also a reversal in sort of market. Not psychology, but just market sentiment, buyers getting more and more aggressive. So I thought that was an interesting point to be bringing up as well. So going back into it over here, yes, we have that in play. Referencing the data, referencing the statistics over here, this signal was validated in early January, on the 6th of January, actually. We are now on the 24th of January, and coming into tomorrow's closure, we'll get another 5-day, and that will be 20 days that have transpired since that signal was validated. The average days, again, is about 37 days. So I would still say that statistically speaking, it's relevant to look for this rally to go on for a little bit longer. And if we look at this from an average move perspective, you can also see that we've already seen about 40% of this move that is very close to the average at 42.35. But I do think that because this is, a rather extreme move, it's very likely that we might even see all the way to the north side of the first standard deviation, closer to 49.5 to 50%. Keeping in mind that the highest result that we've seen from this particular setup was about 51.75% before like a major consolidation. Anyways, let's just play around with numbers here. And what would 49.5% look like on current price action? That would put Bitcoin at about just above $25,000. That's eerily similar to what we saw over here at the 90% of historic returns range highs. And then also, as my notes just run away, if we go to the daily will also be showing the current range highs, which is the 80% of historical return range highs at 25,200. Very interesting right there. Very, very interesting as well. Just want to make sure that I'm hitting everything. Yeah, I think we got all the big ones right there. So if Bitcoin does have another big move to the upside, that's about where I'm looking towards. Short term, the area of interest to the upside would be 24,550 based off of a break of 23,650. So again, one before the next, obviously. And this would all be invalidated, and a greater pullback from this current area would emerge. Although, I do think it's a little bit less likely if Bitcoin closes below the current range lows at 22,350 at that point. Probably looking somewhere back down around 21,200 or so. So I don't really want to talk about pullback targets necessarily just yet based off of potential of the next move, because we don't have a high in place just yet. We can see, again, signals of slow down. So I do think that this is probably going to be the last push for this particular rally before a more prolonged consolidation. One, Bitcoin on CME is testing the daily 200 simple. We also see, again, extremes on volatility. That's probably the most important one for me. And then bearish divergence is starting to build, maybe even on the daily, but definitely up to a 12-hour time frame, and certainly on a 4-hour time frame. So the next high very likely does, start to play these sort of divergences out, and we start to play some sideways and down. But talking about downside targets before hitting that next high is just unwise in my experience, because obviously the next high is going to massively, dictate where the likelihood of that is going to be. So I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off on this particular video. I think I hit just about everything I wanted to hit there. Of course, there's more as well, but I did, I want to make these videos digestible within around the 10-minute time frame range. That seems to be where most people are interested in. Other than that, Bybit's got their show link. They got 0% on maker fees for derivative contracts, with the link in the description below. I believe it's only available with my link, something that I specifically negotiate for, like, no, it's not like an argument, but negotiate for, simply because, I know that active traders like myself, probably you as well, if you're tuning into content like this, that's very, 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 very valuable. So that's available for you there. It gives you about 30 days of that. And other than that, as always, I'd like to wish you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.